Today, we're diving into a really cool concept, blueprinting the future. We're going to talk about a new kind of role, the sovereign systems architect, and what it really takes to build a truly self-sufficient world. So just imagine for a second, a community that powers itself, connects itself, and protects itself. A place where all the things we need to live, energy, data, even growing food, aren't just managed separately, but are actually woven together into this single, super resilient, self-sufficient ecosystem. That's the big vision we're unpacking here. And this quote, it really gets to the heart of it. This isn't about just sitting back and waiting to see what happens next. Nope. It's about taking a really active role in designing a world that's more robust, more independent. It's a huge shift in thinking, really, from just maintaining what we have to actually creating something brand new. So you might be asking, why is this kind of new approach even necessary? Well, the answer really boils down to how fragile our current world can be. I mean, think about it. Our power grid, our supply chains, the internet, it's all tangled together. And that's efficient most of the time, but it also makes it incredibly vulnerable. All it takes is one of those black swan events, like a crazy natural disaster or a major supply chain collapse, and you can get this domino effect where everything just grinds to a halt. And that brings us to the solution. And it's not just a new gadget or a piece of software, it's an entirely new job, an entirely new role, the architect of sovereignty. Now, what's really important to understand is the difference here. We've got plenty of brilliant technicians and admins who are keeping our current systems running. But the sovereign systems architect, or SSA, they're doing something totally different. They're not just patching up the old grid, they're designing and building entirely new ones from the ground up. So how do they actually do it? Well, the secret sauce is this idea called the Velcro principle. This is the core concept of physically sticking the energy grid directly to the data economy. It's basically the glue that holds this whole sovereign ecosystem together. And this little diagram shows you exactly how it works. You see, power generation fuels the data centers. Now, those data centers, they kick off a ton of waste heat. But in this system, that waste isn't wasted at all. It becomes a resource, something you can use to heat greenhouses or even distill water. And then those other industries can provide byproducts that help fuel the power generator. See? It's a closed loop, a circular economy, where every single output becomes a new input. Nothing gets lost. Now, this is such a huge, multifaceted role that it kind of helps to think of the architect as wearing 3 different hats. They have to think like an engineer, a banker, and a town mayor, all at the same time. Okay, first up, the engineer hat. This is all about the physical stuff. The architect designs the actual site, the layout of the power cores, the data clusters. They're basically designing a modern fortress, optimizing every single detail for efficiency and, maybe most importantly, for security. In that security-first mindset, it's baked in from the very beginning. They use what's called a zero-trust layout. So Zone 1 might have stuff like public Wi-Fi kiosks. Then you move into Zone 2, which is for staff managing things like battery storage. But Zone 3, that's the vault. That's the heart of it all. It holds the servers and the power controls, and it's protected by things like biometric-only access. Super tight. All right, let's switch to the second hat, the banker. Because once you've built the system, it has to be sustainable, right? It has to pay for itself. And the key tool for that is something called the spark spread. It's basically a real-time financial calculation to make sure every single watt of energy is being used in the most profitable way possible. So at any given moment, the architect is constantly asking this exact question. Is it better to use our energy to power the data servers and sell cloud services? Or, hey, should we convert it into synthetic fuel and sell that on the open market? Or maybe, just maybe, the smartest move is to just store that energy in batteries and sell it back to the main grid later when prices are higher. The spark spread calculation gives them the answer, moment by moment. And finally, we've got the third hat, the mayor. And this might be the most complicated and important role of them all. The architect has to literally engineer the human operating system. This means creating the social rules and legal frameworks that let a community actually own and operate all this infrastructure together successfully. Because look, it's not enough to just build the hardware. You have to answer these really tough questions. Who actually owns all the data that the community generates? How are the rules, the terms of service, enforced? What's the model for your neighbors to buy in and actually have some equity? The architect has to draft this whole digital constitution, setting the rules of the road for everybody involved. So when you take these three roles, the engineer, the banker, and the mayor, and you combine them into one, you get something truly transformative. Right, so the final thing an architect hands over isn't a server rack or a generator. It's a complete, holistic master plan. It's a real, actionable blueprint that a community can take and use to build its own sovereign future. And this is what it looks like when it all comes together. A vision that pulls in the physical layout from the engineer, the financial model from the banker, and the governance charter from the mayor. It's the whole shebang, a full-stack solution for resiliency and self-sufficiency. So that leaves us with a final thought to chew on. If you look at your own world, your own neighborhood, and you started applying these ideas, what would you choose to make self-sufficient first? Would it be food, energy, data? The blueprint for the future is just waiting to be drawn.